Good morning and welcome. My name is Ken Bowman, one of the elders here at Alive in Christ. I have the privilege to introduce to you our newest members. Keith Eisberg actually transferred to Alive in Christ early in 2022, but soon after went on an adventure to Washington to build his own airplane. Keith is back in Columbia for the time being, but travels frequently for work and hobby. Hayward Hand is from Galveston, Texas. He grew up in a military family and also served in the armed forces himself. Even though his health often keeps him away from Alive in Christ, he watches us faithfully each week online. Joyce Huber grew up in mid-Missouri. Joyce enjoys art, particularly doing watercolor. She also used to play golf and traveled with her husband. Joyce has 3 daughters, a stepdaughter, and a stepson. Veronica Huckfelt was born and raised in South Dakota and is a nurse. Veronica and her husband, Adam, have twin 3-year-old daughters. We are thrilled that they are both now official AIC members. When not keeping up with the girls, Veronica likes to read and do puzzles. Melanie Heineck was born in California and raised in Hannibal. She and her son Gideon first came to AIC for the Pumpkin Bash in 2021. After the Pumpkin Bash, they decided to try out one of the services and have been coming to AIC ever since. Melanie enjoys spending time with her son, hiking, and gardening. Mike and Carla Kramer are returning to Columbia and Alive in Christ after spending the past 12 years in Oklahoma. Mike and Carla were among the first members of Alive in Christ. Both Mike and Carla were educators. Jan Leverling started attending Alive in Christ this past summer in order to bring her grandchildren to Sunday school here. Jan is part of the Thursday morning women's Bible study, the Loaves and Fishes cooking team, the senior singers, and has jumped in and helped with events such as the Pumpkin Bash. Rick and Susie McKernan are both originally from Kansas. Rick has been in the insurance business most of his life, and Susie is a retired nurse. Rick is very involved in the Downtown Optimist Club and runs the Kids Soapbox Derby each year. Larry Morrison was born in California and grew up in Oklahoma. He spent 23 years in the military and now works in the private sector, where his job in the fuel industry continues to keep him connected with the military. Larry has 2 adult children and he enjoys working with veterans. Steve Nolan began attending Alive in Christ in October. He was born in St. Louis and raised in Columbia. He has worked as both a firefighter and in criminal justice. He has a son, daughter-in-law, and grandson who live in Missouri. John and Ashley Shaner have attended Alive in Christ with their children, Kaylin and Ellis, for several years. We are excited to have them officially joining us today. John was born and raised in Pennsylvania and is the youngest of 6 children. Ashley is from the St. Louis area. Both John and Ashley came to Columbia for college, John at Mizzou and Ashley at Stevens. Their kids attend Christian Chapel Academy. Blake and Cheryl Tokoti met in the suburbs of Chicago, where Cheryl was born and raised. She met Blake after her family moved to the farm in Joliet. Both of them became teachers. They taught until Blake's dad and grandfather called them to help with the trash business they had started in Columbia, Missouri. Blake and Cheryl have 3 grown children, and they also have grandchildren in Columbia. Randy and Helena Tobler transferred their membership in October from St. Paul's Lutheran in Memphis, Missouri to Alive in Christ. Randy is a physician as well as a radio broadcaster. Helene is a holistic nutritionist. They have kept busy over the last several months, making the move from Memphis to Columbia, and are looking forward to being settled here. Help me by welcoming these new families.